For 6 years, they were an ocean away. No royal engagements. No Buckingham Palace balcony. No school run through the gates of Lamrook, where their cousins wave goodbye to their parents every morning. Then, in August 2026, something changed. Quietly, almost secretly, 2 children who were born into one of the most famous families on earth boarded a private flight and touched down on British soil. Not for a visit. Not for a funeral, or a jubilee, or a wedding. This time, they came to stay. Somewhere in England, behind gates nobody has photographed and under a name nobody has confirmed, 7-year-old Prince Archie and 5-year-old Princess Lilibet are about to start school. And that single fact, 2 young royals sitting down at a British classroom desk for the very first time, might tell us more about the future of this family than any headline ever has. Stay with me, because this story isn't really about schoolbooks and uniforms. It's about a family finding its way back to each other, and it starts 6 years ago, on a night nobody in the royal family saw coming. To understand why this moment matters, you need to understand what was lost. In early 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, made an announcement that shook the monarchy to its foundations. They were stepping back, in the palace's careful phrasing, from royal duties. Within weeks, they had left Britain behind and settled thousands of miles away, in Montecito, California, a quiet coastal town favored by celebrities seeking privacy. For the royal family, it was a rupture unlike anything in a generation. For Harry and Meghan, it was, by their own account, a chance to build a different kind of life for their children, one lived largely outside the gaze of the British press and away from the pressures that had defined Harry's own childhood. Archie was born in May 2019, just months before the split. Lilibet arrived in June 2021, born on American soil, a princess who had never so much as set foot in the country her father was born a prince in. For 6 years, the 2 children grew up entirely as Californians. Beach walks instead of palace gardens. American preschools instead of English prep schools. Their only real exposure to Britain came through brief, high-security visits, a jubilee appearance here, a coronation absence there. And now, in the space of just a few weeks in August 2026, all of that has changed. To understand how we got here, we have to rewind slightly, to the middle of August 2026, when reports first surfaced that the Sussexes were preparing for a major, and largely unexpected, move. According to reporting from GB News, King Charles was informed of his son and daughter-in-law's decision to relocate back to the UK on Sunday, August 16. Sources close to the family suggest the King welcomed the news warmly, though notably, when Harry, Meghan, and the children last visited Britain in July, staying with the King and Queen Camilla at Highgrove House, the decision had not yet been shared with him. The plan, it seems, came together quickly in the weeks that followed. By the following week, the story broke publicly, Harry and Meghan intended to be settled into a new home in the UK by the end of August. Crucially, reports indicated this would not be a royal residence, and not a return to London either. Instead, multiple outlets pointed toward a private property in the English countryside. With the Cotswolds mentioned as the likely destination, a region already popular among wealthy Londoners seeking rural seclusion, and notably not far from where other royals, including some of Harry's own relatives, have chosen to settle. And tucked inside that bigger headline was a smaller, but no less significant, detail: Archie and Lilibet were already enrolled in British schools, with their first term due to begin in September. Let that sink in for a moment. While the public was still processing the idea of Harry and Meghan returning to British life, the practical machinery of that return, school forms, term dates, uniform fittings, had already been quietly set in motion, likely weeks in advance. This wasn't an impulsive decision. This was planned. Let's walk through exactly how this story unfolded, because the sequence of events tells its own story. Mid-July 2026. Harry, Meghan, and the children make a private visit to the UK, meeting King Charles and Queen Camilla at Highgrove House. At this stage, according to GB News reporting, the couple keeps their relocation plans to themselves. On the surface, it looks like just another family visit, one of the increasingly rare moments where the wider royal family and the Sussexes share the same roof. Sunday, August 16th. Behind closed doors, the king is finally told. The decision to return, at least for an extended period, is now real. Reports suggest there are currently no plans for either Harry or Meghan to resume official royal duties. This is being framed not as a return to the working monarchy, but as a private family relocation. Around August 20th, the story goes public. Multiple British outlets, including GB News and Hello Magazine, report that Archie and Lilibet are already enrolled in schools in the United Kingdom. The details are sparse by design. We learn that Archie, now 7, will enter what's known in the English school system as Year 3, roughly equivalent to 2nd grade in the US. Lilibet, 5 years old, will begin Year 1, the English equivalent of kindergarten, transitioning into 1st grade. We also learn what we're not being told. The name of the school remains undisclosed. Its exact location remains undisclosed. What we do know is that it sits near wherever the family's new countryside home turns out to be, and that security concerns are the stated reason for the secrecy. August 21st onward. Speculation fills the gap left by official silence. Commentators begin drawing an inevitable comparison. Lambrook School, the co-educational day school in Berkshire where Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, Archie and Lilibet's first cousins, are currently enrolled. It's widely expected, though not confirmed, that Archie and Lilibet will follow a similar path, a co-educational day school rather than a boarding institution, much like their Wales cousins. Whether it's the same school as George, Charlotte, and Louis remains an open question nobody in an official capacity has answered. There's also a striking piece of timing here worth pausing on. This same September, Prince George, heir to the throne after his father and grandfather, is set to begin at Eton College, the historic boarding school that has educated generations of British elite, including King Charles and Prince William themselves. So in the very same month, two branches of the same family are stepping into two very different chapters of British education, one boy walking through the gates of one of the most storied boarding schools in the world, and two younger cousins, an ocean crossing away, starting their first ever school year on British soil. August 26th. The final piece falls into place. Harry and Meghan, together with Archie and Lilibet, arrive back in England. Reportedly flying privately into Birmingham Airport from California. A spokesperson for the couple, when asked directly about their travel arrangements, offers only a brief, guarded response that it isn't something they'd comment on. 6 years after leaving as a family of 3, Harry, Meghan, and a newborn Archie, they return as a family of 4, with 2 school-age children in tow, ready to begin a new chapter that nobody, not even close royal watchers, fully saw coming just a month earlier. As you can imagine, a story like this doesn't stay quiet for long, even when the family involved is doing everything possible to keep it that way. British tabloids leapt on the news almost instantly. Some outlets framed it as a dramatic homecoming, a long-awaited reconciliation between the Sussexes and the country, and the family they left behind. Others were quicker to point out the irony, that a couple who once cited relentless media intrusion as a central reason for leaving Britain are now bringing their children directly back into the heart of that same media environment, choosing secrecy over transparency at every turn. American entertainment outlets, meanwhile, focused heavily on the why. Why now? Why after 6 years of building a life and a business empire in Montecito? Some commentary has pointed to a desire for the children to develop a stronger connection to their British heritage and extended family before they get much older. Others have speculated it may be tied to Harry's ongoing efforts to rebuild bridges with his father and brother, efforts that have been reported on with mixed success over the past several years. It's worth being clear here, these are theories being floated by commentators and outlets covering the story, not confirmed reasons offered by Harry and Meghan themselves. On social media, reaction has split largely along the same lines that have defined public opinion on the Sussexes for years. Supporters describe the move as a brave, family-first decision, prioritizing the children's roots and relationships over convenience. Critics, meanwhile, question the timing and the secrecy, noting that the couple is reportedly retaining both their Montecito estate and a holiday property in Portugal, suggesting this may be a partial, flexible relocation rather than a permanent, full-time return. What's notable is what hasn't happened. There's been no public statement from Buckingham Palace. No comment from Kensington Palace, home to Prince William and Princess Catherine. The Wales family, whose own children attend Lambrook and whose eldest is about to start at Eton, have said nothing publicly about their young cousins potentially becoming their new schoolmates. That silence is, in its own way, a story. In royal reporting, an absence of comment is rarely accidental, and it leaves plenty of room for speculation to fill the void. So what does all of this actually mean for the royal family, beyond the headlines? First, it's worth understanding just how significant British schooling is within royal culture. For generations, where a royal child goes to school has been treated as almost a coded signal, a statement about values, about closeness to tradition, about a family's relationship with the institution of the monarchy itself. Prince William and Kate deliberately chose Thomas's Battersea, and later Lambrook, partly to give George, Charlotte, and Louis a more grounded, less rarefied upbringing than previous royal generations experienced. Archie and Lilibet, by contrast, have spent their entire lives outside that system. They hold titles, Prince and Princess, that were only formally extended to them in 2023, following King Charles's succession. But titles aside, they have functionally grown up as American children, disconnected from the daily rhythms of British royal and social life that shape so much of how the wider public relates to the monarchy. Enrolling them in a British school, even privately and even without any resumption of official duties, subtly shifts that dynamic. It means regular contact with British soil, British institutions, and, potentially, British cousins, on a near-daily basis, in a way that occasional summer visits never could. Royal commentators have long noted that proximity tends to matter enormously within this family. Relationships that are maintained through infrequent, high-security visits tend to remain distant and formal. Relationships built through overlapping school runs, shared birthday parties, and casual weekend visits tend to deepen naturally, almost by accident. If Archie and Lilibet do end up at a school near their cousins, even if it's not literally the same institution, the opportunities for that kind of organic reconnect multiply significantly. There's also the question of what this move signals about Harry's own relationship with his family, and with the institution he was born into but stepped back from. Choosing to educate his children on British soil, near his father and brother, while explicitly not resuming royal duties, threads an interesting needle. It suggests a desire for connection without a desire for reintegration into the firm, as royal insiders often call the working monarchy. It's a physical return without, at least for now, an institutional one. Whether that balance is sustainable, geographically close, but officially independent, is one of the more interesting open questions this story raises. Royal history doesn't offer many precedents for it. As of the most recent reporting, here's where things stand. Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet have officially arrived back in the United Kingdom, landing privately in the days before the new school term begins. Their new home, believed to be located in the Cotswolds region, is being described as a non-royal, private residence, distinct from properties like Frogmore Cottage, which the family previously occupied on royal grounds before their departure in 2020. The children's school remains unnamed and unconfirmed by any official source. What has been confirmed is their year groups. Archie entering Year 3, Lilibet beginning Year 1, both set to start alongside their new British classmates within days of the family's return. Neither Harry nor Meghan has issued a public statement addressing the broader implications of the move. There is no indication, as of now, of any change to their formal status within the royal family. They remain the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, non-working members of the family, with no confirmed plans to attend future royal engagements, ceremonies, or official functions. King Charles, according to reporting, has given his blessing to the arrangement, though what that blessing practically involves, increased contact, shared family occasions, future visits to Windsor or Sandringham, remains to be seen in the months ahead. For now, the most concrete, human detail we have is also the simplest one: 2 children ages 5 and 7 are about to walk through the doors of a British school for the very first time. When you strip away the palace intrigue, the tabloid speculation, and the endless parsing of who said what to whom, this story comes down to something remarkably ordinary. A family that left Britain under painful, complicated circumstances is choosing, 6 years later, to bring their children back. Not necessarily to rejoin the institution they walked away from, but perhaps simply to let two young children know the country, and the family, their father once called home. Whether this marks the beginning of a genuine reconciliation between Harry and the rest of the royal family, or simply a practical decision about schools and geography with no larger meaning attached, is something only time, and perhaps a few unguarded moments at the school gates, will reveal. What we do know is this. Come September, somewhere in the English countryside, Prince Archie will walk into a Year 3 classroom, and Princess Lilibet into Year 1, for the very first time. Two children, born an ocean apart from the world their father grew up in, are about to start writing their own chapter of it. And after everything this family has been through, the departure, the distance, the headlines, that quiet, ordinary moment might turn out to be the most meaningful one of all. So, what do you think this move really means for the future of the royal family? Do you think this is the first step toward a real reconciliation between Harry and his father and brother, or simply a private family decision with no bigger picture behind it? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story behind the headlines, hit that like button and subscribe for more royal family coverage every single week. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.